What's good, folks? AK here with some more Lovecraft Country Tinfoil thoughts. This is what I think of the Uncle George, Hippolyta, and Diana dynamic of the show. First off, shout out to Courtney B. Vance for making the whole damn realm love a character that was only around for 2 episodes. 2. Uncle George as of episode 2 is dead and gone, but it is highly suspected around the fandom that he will return. I, for one, wholeheartedly agree. There is a good chance that we have not seen the last of Uncle George. Of course, that could easily be remedied by us seeing him in different flashbacks throughout the rest of the season, but I think his character, as well as his wife and daughter, have bigger roles to play. Uncle George, to me, has a godly-like light in his persona that we have not yet been shown. And I know, hold up. If he's any type of god, why is he dead? Gods have died many times in mythology. Some have even willingly sacrificed themselves in rituals before. Do they stay dead? 9 times out of 10, no. Since Tick is one of our main characters, we'll start with his connection. From the very beginning, we've been told Tick has a secret heritage. Samuel Braithwaite is a cadet branch of the Braithwaite family. That's why he needs Tick. Tick's blood is stronger than his because Tick is a direct descendant of Titus Braithwaite, by way of Tick's ancestor, Hannah. We know the Braithwaites are part of a magic-wielding cult called the Sons of Adam. Samuel Braithwaite believes himself to be the figure of Adam from the Bible. There's a few things to consider, though. Sidebar. It was a bit hard to get a clear shot of the full window because the camera blurred every time I paused the scene. I did manage to get a closer shot, but some parts are blocked out because of how it was filmed. This stained glass window in Liddy's room depicts Adam and Eve about to have intercourse. Eve has a bit of a distressed look on her face, and Adam's nether regions are a literal snake. This depiction is brought to life when Letty and Hallucination Tick are making out in Letty's room. Near the end, Letty is a bit distressed, and Tick's snake is, a snake. And we could reach into our real world and take into account that the earliest humans were from Africa, so Adam likely had a look closer to Tick's, not Samuel's. Tick is the actual Adam figure here. And of course, in biblical text, we know who Adam's father is. For the purposes of Lovecraft Country, that would be Uncle George. So that's the first instance I see Uncle George having a godly light put on his character. Let's move on to Uncle George's wife, the Lady Hippolyta Freeman. In Greek mythology, Hippolyta is Queen of the Amazons. And on the nerdy front, in DC Comics, Hippolyta is also Queen of the Amazons. In the most recent DCU comic book movies, we've seen Queen Hippolyta in full battle armor. I'd say this is her less formal headdress, while this is her war headdress. In the full season trailer for Lovecraft Country, there is a clip of Hippolyta Freeman in battle armor. Her helmet is very similar to the war helmet we just saw. See the feathers in her helmet? It's an indication of leadership. We can tell that because when the battle begins, there's only one person with that type of helmet. There's all forms of magic happening in this story, and we were shown Hippolyta in this light for a reason. From the info we've been given so far, I'm guessing being a warrior queen was a past life that our current day Hippolyta does not remember. Yet. Or, super tinfoil, present day Hippolyta fixes the Ori and time travels directly to her former life, or possibly a different universe where she was and still is a warrior queen, and she gets stuck there for a bit. I'm sure our questions will be answered before the season's over. Hopefully. I also have to note that in the battle shown in the season trailer, the Amazons are fighting a troop of soldiers. I can't tell from the uniforms where they are from. If you can, please enlighten me in the comment section. If they're not from any particular country's army though, my tinfoil brain is guessing that they are an early sect of the Sons of Adam cult, possibly some of Titus's original group, and the Amazons are protecting something from them. I've seen many a story that has magical items that are always meant to return to their protector and or owner somehow. Think of Evie O'Connell in The Mummy. In the present day, the Scorpion King's bracelet found its way to her son. In Evie's past life, however, it was her job to protect the bracelet, a job she had to return to before the story ended. I am eagerly keeping an eye on Queen Hippolyta and what secrets she'll decipher with the Ori. So how is Hippolyta being a legendary warrior queen significant to Uncle George being a godlike figure? Let me introduce you to Zeus, king of the gods in the Greek mythology. But for our purposes, the DC Comics and current DCEU version of Zeus, the god that impregnated Queen Hippolyta, who then gave birth to Wonder Woman. I think it's safe to say most of us know that Wonder Woman's alter ego is named Diana Prince. Uncle George and Queen Hippolyta just so happen to have a daughter named Diana, who likes to write comic books in her spare time. Diana hasn't been quite as developed as the adult characters in the story just yet, so I'm eagerly watching to see what magical or supernatural things end up weaving themselves into her storyline. That is the second instance of a godly light being cast on Uncle George. While I was putting all my thoughts together for this, someone else occurred to me. There's a third instance in which a godly light is put upon Uncle George's character. It's also from the Greek pantheon. This guy, Hephaestus, god of blacksmiths, metalworking, carpenters, craftsmen, artisans, sculptors, metallurgy, fire, and volcanoes. He's basically Bran the Builder on crack. The trait he shares with Uncle George is both of their legs have been severely damaged at a point in their life. Hephaestus was tossed off Mount Olympus and broke both of his legs when he landed as a baby, which left him crippled for life. Uncle George was attacked on one of his guide trips and had both of his knees shattered. I believe it was in episode 1 that he mentioned he's lucky to have his knees and legs functioning at all after the incident happened. So how would a Hephaestus spin fit with Queen Hippolyta? Well, Hephaestus is married to Aphrodite in mythology, and if you take a look at Aphrodite's history, at one point in time she was also known as a war goddess in some cultures. Shout out to Red from Overly Sarcastic Productions for that bit of knowledge. Link to that video is in the description. The real question there is, would Diana fit into that narrative? Depending on what versions of mythology you read, Hephaestus and Aphrodite didn't have any children. Or they had kids but with different people. Sometimes Eros, aka Cupid, is Hephaestus and Aphrodite's biological son. Sometimes Hephaestus only raises Eros as his son, while Ares is the biological father. That love triangle equals all the shenanigans. So here's some other random reaching tinfoil thoughts. It wouldn't surprise me if Uncle George has just as much magic in his background as Tig's ancestor Hannah does. For comparison, because Thrones bleeds into everything on my channel, we could look at the Stark kids. Everyone knows that House Stark's blood is steeped in legend and lore. First Wind blood, Children of the Forest blood, Wildling blood, and if you want to get super tinfoil, there could even be a bit of blood from the others. What some folks don't take into account, where 5 of the 6 kids are concerned, is the magic from the Tully side of the family. Catelyn Tully's mother was a Went, and considering the amount of marriages that happened between lords and their vassals, it's safe to say that House Went shares blood ties with House Ralston. The feared black bat even appears on both of their sigils. That usually is a very clear indication of family. The easiest physical trait to track that lineage is the red hair passed down from House Ralston. Before you say that's shallow reasoning, do remember that eye color and, more importantly, hair color are the 2 triggers that clued Ned in on Cersei's kids not being Roberts.
Stefan Baratheon, black of hair. Robert Baratheon, black of hair. Joffrey Baratheon, golden head.
Mad Lady Lawson was known to dabble in the dark arts. Mix all those blood ties together and you get a pack of northern-born pups with extracurricular magic abilities. All of this leads me to believe that Tic's magic does not just come from Hannah. I do also have to note that after watching episode 5 of Lovecraft Country, I'm inclined to believe that Hannah had innate magic. Innate magic refers to someone who is born with magical abilities, unlike Titus and his order, who I believe learned, or more accurately stole, the magic they wield. R.I.P. to my Guyanese brethren Yahima. Tic's magic is strengthened because Hannah's blood has mingled with the blood of House Freeman. I'm very much hoping that we get more backstory on Hannah's and Freeman lineage. Random sidebar before we wrap up. Something else came to mind about Diana mostly, is that when it comes to a heritage of magic blood, a lot of times the kids in these families get upgrades. The Stark kids aren't just wargs, one of them is a green seer, another will likely be a skin changer on par with the Warg King. But let's take a look at the story of Inkheart. The character Mo in the Inkheart movies is what's known as a silver tongue. When he reads books out loud, he has the ability to pull the characters out of the books and into the real world. He didn't know at the beginning of the story, but that ability was passed on to his daughter, with an unexpected upgrade. Meggie could read characters out of books too, but she also had the added ability of being able to write and rewrite already established narratives on the spot and send people into stories. Obviously, that doesn't quite fit with the mythology aspect of the Freeman family theory, but I thought it was an interesting tidbit because both Meggie and Diana are writers. Is Uncle George a godlike figure just waiting in the wings to be resurrected by Tic, or just waiting for the right time to resurrect himself? I honestly can't say, but my tinfoil loving brain is very much hoping so. Thanks for hanging and listening to my random reaching ramblings. Please leave me your thoughts on Uncle George and the show in general in the comment section. What are you guys hoping to see for Uncle George, Queen Hippolyta, and Diana? If you're like me and you feel the need to talk about the episodes as soon as they are over, check out Sharonda from Pay or Wait and The Lady and the Don, Tony and Elamar from Teflon TV. They always have great after show discussions. Check out Manic Meeks and Sean Tank Top if you want some good reactions for the episodes. And finally, check out the Binge Zone, Black Gay Comic Geek, and GameSpot Universe if you want some good recaps and reviews of the episodes. All of those links will be in the description below. Catch y'all in the next one.